Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening for our presentation, The Power of CBD. My name is Sue James, and I'll be your host this evening, and we have some wonderful guest speakers coming, a lot of information, a little bit of housekeeping. Don't worry about missing any information because this is recorded thanks to Laura. She's taking care of our PowerPoints and a lot of our mechanics here, so we're grateful for that. And we also will have a Q&A at the end if there's anyone that has questions or wants to make comments after the presentation. And Phil is going to monitor the chat box as we go forward. So thanks to Laura and Phil for all of their work. We very much appreciate that. We have Susan with us tonight, who's going to be a guest speaker, and we have Valerie, who's also going to share some personal stories about CBD oil and people on the autism spectrum. I have been a child care provider for about 20 years, and I've worked with children on the spectrum and have some family personal experiences with that as well. So I have a unique perspective on this epidemic disorder. I am focused on health and wellness. I also try to work with children in literacy. I have 7 children's books. 2 of them are bilingual with Spanish and English to embrace our Latino children. I live in a very rural area where there's a lot of Latino children brought here by people that work the farms, and we certainly want to embrace those loved ones, little loved ones. And I graduated from Purdue Global University with my business.
Sue, we can't hear you. I think you broke up a little bit.
My book, The Angel Opens Her Eyes, and I have a chapter on CBD oil that I was writing. That book is about different ways to help kiddos and adults on the spectrum, anything from food, water, exercise, and of course, CBD oil. And these are tried and true things that I've seen over the years. So when I got to the chapter on CBD, I pretty much thought I had, like I was going to be a quick write, no problem. Boy, I couldn't have been more wrong. There is so much to know about CBD oil, and most people don't know what they should even know. So I dug in and found Phil Bender, who is a Green Compass distributor, and started to connect with him and get data, resources, information, which is exactly what my book is about. Claim this, tell the story, back it up with data. And then Phil introduced me to Dr. Jack, who has YouTube's Dr. Jack's Got Your Back. He's on YouTube. And if you watch his YouTubes, you will know more than 90% of the people in the world do about CBD oil. They're very entertaining and quick. And then, of course, he connected me with Susan Jones, who's worked with a lot of different children and school boards and things concerning children on the autism spectrum. So that's how I got here. And I realized that with this potential therapy for our loved ones on the autism spectrum, we have to get it right. We've got to get this information right. And Green Compass became my answer for that. Disclosure, I am not a Green Compass distributor. I do not sell CBD oil. I have no financial gain with this Zoom or any other conversations we have about CBD oil. I'm an author and I'm writing a book, and I wanted to get this right. So the primary intention of this work with The Angel Opens Her Eyes is to connect with people who are seeking solutions for their loved ones on the spectrum. And we want to offer things that we found that helped our kiddos and our loved ones. And CBD oil is certainly one of them. I want to go ahead and so one more thing. As an author, I have a responsibility to my readers. If I don't refer you to a specific brand, one that I trust and that I know, it's like throwing lambs to the lions. There was a 900% increase of CBD oil sales in this country in 2019. 900%. And most of that is not quality CBD oil, and you'll learn why in this video. So thank you for joining us. I'm going to turn it over to Laura, and she's going to go ahead and tell us about CBD oil and Green Compass and what we need to know.
Thank you, Sue. Just always a pleasure to hear you speak. I'm Laura Sipko. I'm a master director with Green Compass, and I come from a wealth of experience in the wellness industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the medical device industry. And I am privileged to be here tonight to speak to you about what is CBD, how does it work, what are the quality indicators of CBD, Green Compass CBD, and what delivery options are available. So let's first start with, you might be wondering, what is CBD and will it make you high? Well, out of the gates, it will not make you high. So I'm just going to give you a high level overview of what it is and how it works. So CBD is cannabidiol. It's hard for me to even say, cannabidiol. And it's one of the many compounds known as cannabinoids. I don't know why I'm having a hard time saying that tonight. Cannabinoids. And they're really unique. Cannabinoids are really unique because they act on receptors in the endocannabinoid system, which is found throughout our body. It's really miraculous, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more, but they can also be found in plant-based sources like hops, peppers, and cocoa beans. And what I find quite amazing is that females produce cannabinoids in their breast milk to help keep their babies healthy. So let's talk a little bit about this, because it comes from, as we call, the cannabis plant, and that's where there's a lot of confusion and a lot of misinformation. So I want you to think about the two different plants that are cousin plants. There's the marijuana plant and the hemp plant. So oftentimes people will say, will CBD get me high? Because they think it's coming from the marijuana plant. But the marijuana plant and the hemp plant, they look the same, they smell the same, but they do not act the same. The marijuana plant is high in THC, and that's what gets you high, and very low in CBD. And the hemp plant, where we get our CBD, has only trace amounts of THC, but the most abundant compound in that plant is CBD. It's actually considered the essential oil of the hemp plant. And so in 2019, Susan talked about this boom in the industry. In 2019, a farm bill was passed, and hemp became legal to grow in all 50 states. So that was one of the components of why there's such a boom in the industry. But the other piece is the miraculous results that people are having. But before I kind of get into how it works, I want to state that we will never make any medical claims to cure or prevent any disease. Our goal here is to educate about how it works and to share personal testimonials and the possibilities of what can be gained from CBD. So let's talk about this endocannabinoid system that was discovered in the 1990s. All mammals have an endocannabinoid system. So not just us, but our fur babies, our cats and our dogs. And in a nutshell, it's our body's management system. It regulates everything that's going on in our body. It spans across our 11 major organ systems. And so when our body faces stressors, it gets out of balance. And CBD comes in our body, it interacts in that endocannabinoid system, it nourishes it, it replenishes it, and it puts our body back in balance, both physically and mentally. It helps your immune system, it's a neuroprotectant, and it's a powerful anti-inflammatory. And as we know, inflammation is a precursor to many diseases. Sue, I know you wanted to share a couple things from your perspective about the endocannabinoid system. Hey, Sue, I don't hear you.
I forgot to unmute.
That's okay.
I was.
Whoops, we still can't hear you. You might have a spotty connection.
Our stress, self-aggression, speech, all of those kinds of things, injurious behaviors, social interactions, all of that happening. And the endocannabinoid system seems to hold the key to that. And then I also read about parents, and I've documented this in The Angel Opens Her Eyes in chapter 11, CBD oil. Parents have found a lot of success with using CBD oil and helping kiddos. And on the spectrum, and some adults also using CBD oil that are on the spectrum. And it makes sense because of how it helps and the relationship with the endocannabinoid system. So I'm going to ask my new good friend, which all of these people on this Zoom are. I've been so fortunate to connect with them in my work. Susan Jones, who has had a lot of experience with parents in her career working with children on the autism spectrum. Susan, can you join us?
Sure. Thanks, Sue. It's really gratifying to be here. I appreciate it. I want to start with just saying a little bit about who I am and why I'm even here. So I worked as a special educator for over 20 years. I started working and instantly I kind of had a ability to de-escalate contentious situations. And so I started working as an aide, and then I ended up getting my teaching credential in California. And then I worked as a moderate to severe, what was called here, a full inclusion instructor. During that time, being a special educator, I had the amazing experience to have caseloads, sometimes up to 40 students at a time, predominantly on the autism spectrum. And in that time, I had such an increase in awareness that so much of the behaviors were directly connected to the student's ability or inability to just regulate their system. And in this role, what my experience was with several different aid supports, working with teachers, working with administrators, we would try different things in order to change their ability to calm their brains and bodies. And that would then, in fact, either, de-escalate different types of behaviors. I worked as a special ed teacher for a while longer, and then I worked as a behavior specialist and then a behavior analyst for several years. And during that time, I created a Facebook page and I decided to call it Creative Behavior Systems. And what my intention behind that was is to teach people about regulation, because regulation is really the foundation of all of the issues around escalated behaviors or internalizing behaviors. A lot of our students are not only just escalated on the behavior continuum, but a lot of our students are shutting down. And the internalizing students is also based on their inability to regulate that internal structure. So going through all of this, there was several times where we were putting in so many different types of interventions and supports. We're working closely with families, administrators, sometimes outside services, all of these different agencies involved, and really struggling with some of the higher need regulation issues with kids. And sometimes a student would come to school and be very different, present themselves in a very regulated manner. I work and live in California, and it is a federally regulated drug. And so parents did not feel safe sharing with the school team that they had started using a little bit of CBD with their child in the home. But being able to see the supports and the differences in the students in all of the different arenas that people on the spectrum often have troubles with, which is we saw an increase in articulation, we saw an increase in socialization and focus, and ability to connect and attend. Those were all of the components that were connected to that student's ability to just calm their own system. So being able to have that shortened sense of calm present allowed us as a team to really work with an increasing engagement for the student in the classroom settings and at school and with peers and also with family members. And this was back in 2008, 2009. So that was my first experience. My current experience is also finding a good friend of mine is a Green Compass advocate, and she told me all about Green Compass, and I immediately just started to dive in and learn more. But having my history of being a special educator and working with really difficult, challenging behaviors of students in educational settings, I have firsthand experience of seeing and also connecting with parents who have used CBD with their children in the home environment. And I've personally seen a lot of these challenges be supported in amazing ways in school systems. So that's my story. I now work as a consultant, and lo and behold, my business is named after that Facebook page that was created back in 2012, Creative Behavior Systems. And again, it's predominantly focused on helping people learn how to regulate our brains and bodies. And the endocannabinoid system is what I call the mothership of regulation. So I'd like to send it back to Laura now.
Oh,
Thanks.
thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing. That's a great segue to what I was going to share next is, we talk a lot about families, we're talking about families, and that's really, our company was started by a family. Green Compass was started by Meredith and Sterling Cook. There they are with their 2 boys, and bottom line, their commitment is to provide only the highest quality of products. This company started on the fact that Meredith, after she had her second child, she had feelings of sadness. She wasn't herself. She couldn't pull herself out of it. And her brother and her husband suggested that she take CBD. She took it and it helped. When her children got older, there were some things going on in the family, and she decided she wanted to try CBD for them. She couldn't find a clean CBD. She couldn't find one that she was willing to give her children. Many times we'll take something that we won't get, but we won't give it to our children. So she asked her husband, who actually used to be the CEO of an international organic sweet potato company, if he could grow some hemp. So it all started with them and their friends who were also sweet potato farmers, the Wooten brothers. And they decided to come together and grow hemp and make CBD. It originally started that they were just sharing it with their friends and their family, and they didn't want to compromise any quality because it really was just for them, for their family. But fast forward today, 2 years later, after we've started, we have over 70,000 people using our CBD throughout the country, and people are just sharing their testimonials and how it's making a significant change in their life. So let's talk a little bit about how you identify the best CBD oil. And these circles here on this slide, this is what meets our quality criteria. These things, nothing gets out of the door of Green Compass unless it hits our quality criteria, and this is our test for it. So it's really important because not all CBD is the same, as Sue had mentioned. So I'm going to run through these quickly so you understand and you're informed. Any bottle of CBD that's purchased should have a certificate of analysis. And what that analysis looks like is something like this. And what it does is it specifies the amount of CBD, and it proves the strength and the purity. And it also proves what's in there and what's not in there. So if there's any type of pesticides or herbicides, that's going to come out in these reports as well. These reports are really important because there's no governing body around CBD and really assessing what's out in the marketplace. So it really is holding the companies accountable if they have a certificate of analysis. Every one of our bottles has a QR code on the bottom that you can scan, and you can see that certificate of analysis. This is key. The FDA recently published some research that they assessed the CBD on the market, and over 85% of the CBD did not have in the bottle what their label said. So this is really, really important. In addition to that, it all starts with the soil. Hemp absorbs contaminants out of the soil. So it's really important that the soil is clean, because if the contaminants are in the soil, it goes in the hemp, and then it goes into the CBD, and it goes into your body. And that's a big issue. And a lot of CBD in our country, actually the lion's share comes from China, and China uses hemp to clean their environment. And then they make CBD, it gets shipped over here and companies put their own label on it. So it's really important that you understand where it's coming from. And the USDA organic certification is key, and it's rare. And our farmers have been growing on organic soil since the 1970s. And we are proud to say that we have the USDA organic certification for our full product line. And we're the only company in our space that can say that. It's a rigorous process to get, but we don't do things the easy way. Our company does things the right way. And so we will not, again, compromise quality. The other things that are really important to know is how it's extracted from the plant. How do they pull this oil out of that plant? Carbon dioxide extraction is the most environmentally friendly, and it preserves the most cannabinoids better than any other. And if you use ethanol, butane, you might get some of that in your CBD. So you don't want to have the chemicals in your CBD. Pulling it from the hemp flower ensures that you have the highest potency of CBD. You have the best CBD if it's just pulled from the hemp flower. And coconut oil is our carrier oil, of course, and it's the Cadillac of carrier oils because it has the most bioavailability. What does that mean? It absorbs the best in your body. So our company is vertically integrated. And what that means is we control everything that you see on that slide. We plant it in the soil and we put it in the bottle and ship it out. And we are one of really the only company to be vertically integrated and to have the USDA organic certification in our space because we want to do it the absolute right way. So we have 3 delivery methods that we offer. We have sublingual delivery method, water soluble, and topical delivery methods. So sublingual, what that is it's oil based. You put it under your tongue for 60 seconds, you swallow it, and it's carried through your system throughout your glands in your mouth. And we have a full line of products that are oil-based. And again, we can get into the details after this webinar as well. The other one is a new one, and we're actually the only company to have this organic nano jelly, but we have water-soluble delivery. And basically, what we do is we reduce the molecules to a nano size, and so it's water soluble size so the body can better absorb it. When you see this, it says bioavailability. It's basically allowing the body to absorb it. Other gummies, jellies on the marketplace have about a 5% bioavailability, and ours are about a 95%. So they're extremely effective. And I would love for Valerie to share her personal experience with her family with CBD and the jellies. So unmute yourself, Valerie.
Thank you so much, Laura, for inviting me to share. My name is Valerie. I have been a teacher most of my life, and right now I'm a single mom to 2 boys. My youngest is 7 now. He was recently diagnosed on the autism spectrum, and we started, seeing things when he was about the age of 4 in pre-K. And I just wanted to share real quick a few things, with his behavior, some things we were noticing with his, not being able to follow directions, and transitions were very difficult for him. It was difficult communicating, he just wouldn't communicate what he needed or what he wanted or what was wrong. So which, could be frustrating for everyone. And then he just didn't seem to be very empathetic with other people. And, those were things that were unusual to me. So I started looking into CBD researching, and we found the Green Compass, thank goodness, but, we take the full spectrum tincture as well as the jellies, which you talked about, Laura, and they have just been a huge game changer for him. What we've noticed now is that he's communicating more, he's expressing his needs and his wants. For his age, he's 7, he's following directions, mostly the first time I asked. And he's more engaged socially. He's playing with his friends more at school, playing with his brother more here at home. He is, he's really reaching his potential. Like we had an art show this year, and he won best of show. He got first place in his grade level. I mean, these things that it's like, I know it's there. And these talents are able to come out. It almost makes you cry. And I'm so thankful for CBD for that, for helping us and helping him. And another thing I wanted to just share real quick is, this was his behavior chart in October of 2019. And it's just a lot of, not following directions, getting in people's space, personal space, throwing things. And that's when I started looking into CBD and found CBD. When we started the routine here in January 2020, all smiles. And he doesn't have, there's not one single mark here about behavior. And we're just I'm just really excited for him. And, the coaches, the teachers, once we started this routine, they didn't know what I was doing with him at home. And they said, several people said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. He's following directions. He's doing so much better. And that to me was like, we're onto something here. So I'm just very grateful to share. Thank you, Laura, for inviting me.
And okay, so I'm tearing up here. So this is, I am. So this is why we do what we do. Just to see the impact that we can have on lives. So you'll have to excuse me, but thank you, Valerie, for sharing that. But it is, and so Valerie will be around after if anyone has any questions, but we're so grateful for you sharing your story. And that's truly the heart of our company and that's why we have so many people using our products, because it is changing lives. So we also have topical deliveries as well. And so that's our third way that we can utilize CBD for overall wellness. And so we've talked, we've shared stories. We've heard the professional opinion. We've talked about what CBD is and how it works. And I want to turn it over to Sue as we kind of close things out, because she had a little bit more she wanted to share.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Valerie, I tell you, I know where you were in that space when you're told that a family member and a loved one is not where they're supposed to be. It is really heart-wrenching. And I watch in my daycare and through my child care career, moms that are so frustrated and upset because they cannot help their children. And when you find a tool, any tool that helps your child, you are suddenly re-empowered as a parent. So we are providing a gift here, a possible gift for not only these children, but for parents that can allow them to feel like they can make a difference in a situation that you feel powerless in. You just really do. And it's all encompassing. You think of nothing else when your kiddo is off the mark. So Valerie, thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate that. Now, I want to say that when I worked with children and family members when it came to potential therapies, I never skipped. I made sure I had the right thing. I did the money. I made sure that it was money well spent, but I wanted to have a quality product and I was willing to pay for the quality product. And there's just two things here. It is expensive to run that organic certificate and have that in your business. That's why you do not see that on CBD oil. That government seal about all of their ingredients and how they grow their product and how they manage their product, that is expensive to maintain. And that's why most companies don't do it. They either don't know it's important or they know and they don't care. So when I get to where I'm talking to people about Green Compass, I can feel confident in saying, this is where you need to start. The other place is the advocates, which are what the sales force is referred to. They absolutely care about people. I have sent people to Phil and I watched Dr. Jack's video. I've talked to Susan and I know, and Laura, and I know that these people really care about people. It's not about making money. It's about caring about people. And again, when you're a parent or a child care provider or someone with a loved one on the spectrum, you need that care. You just need that care. So I'm going to read this. I have this in my book, The Angel Opens Her Eyes. This is a statement from the University of North Carolina in Wilmington, and they have partnership with Green Compass. I don't know if they still do. Laura, do they still have a partnership with?
Yes, we do. Oh, can you hear me? I can't hear you anymore. Yes, we do. Oh, we lost you, Sue.
safe, and effective with hemp that is 100% American grown and undergoes an extremely detailed quality controlled process. The result, CBD and hemp grown CBD and hemp extracts of unmatched excellence, thanks to our nurturing cultivation and dedication to the plant. Unmatched excellence. When you're in that situation with a kiddo and you want to get them the best, you want to get the unmatched excellent brand. That's what you want to do. And that's why I recommend Green Compass in my book and when I talk with people about that. Now, just quickly, my personal testimony, I am a customer. I take the 750 milligram each day. I tweak it depending on how crazy life is. And I told Phil after a few weeks on that product that I was experiencing an anxiety-free life probably for the first time in my life.
Mhm.
And I am very grateful for that. And I had improvement in sleep. I had less angst towards change. I found that I could focus more on writing and on my other work. I juggle a lot of things. I write books. I run a nonprofit cooking class. I have a daughter. I have a husband. You know, I do a lot of community service in my community. And my own personal testimony was really amazing. And I'm really grateful for that. And I've seen family members and people that I know that were on this.
Sue, I'm sure you'll come back. We've lost her a few times here.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
we lost you. Okay.
So did they hear the University of North Carolina part?
Most of that, yes, most of that we did. Yes, thank you so much.
So the majority of that is about having an excellent product because you don't want to skimp. If you're going to try a potential therapy or something to help a person on the autism spectrum or yourself, get the best. And that's why I recommend this company so wholeheartedly. The other thing is that from my personal testimony, I'm probably for the first time in my life living anxiety free.
Mhm.
And the startle response is gone. I sleep better. I'm able to focus. I didn't realize how far off the mark I was until I got on the mark, and Susan and I had that conversation
Mm.
today. Like you're just in this whirlwind, and then when you get settled down, you're like, "Wow, I was really upset there." And I am very grateful that I always remember to take my Green Compass because it makes such a big difference for me. I've not missed a day since I started with as a customer with Phil Bender, and I would recommend this for you to find out what works for you. I want to talk about the Angel Opens Her Eyes. We're hoping to have that book released in early 2022. We've had a lot of revisions and changes on the direction of that book to make it more palatable and to make it a practical guide, if you would, so that people can pick that book up and get help for their loved ones on the autism spectrum. We have some upcoming education sessions and roundtables that we're going to be doing together as a group. And I'm looking forward to that so we can connect with community partners and other people going forward.
Mhm. Great, thank you.
Mhm.
And before we officially close it out, I just wanted to thank everyone for being on tonight, and also provide some contact information for you. If you have any questions about Green Compass and our CBD, please contact Phil Bender. He's our point of contact, or whoever invited you tonight. So if someone from Green Compass invited you tonight, please contact them. If not, please contact Phil if you want to learn about our CBD, if you want to learn about doing what we do, what we love, just sharing with people the opportunity for better overall health and wellness for your entire family. Phil can also help get you in contact with anyone else that's on this call, and you also see the websites for the other two ladies that were on here. But our mission tonight was really educate and share, and hopefully you felt that we met that. And with that, thank you for joining us, and we will open it up for some questions.